Hello everyone, is it working? I think it's working. Welcome to ModCon 2025. Holy crap, 800 of you already in the chat, and I spotted the official CK3 channel earlier. Oh my, how are we all doing? Are we excited for this year's ModCon? I am. I'm nervous, but I'm very excited. You've watched ModCon before? Hello Uber. How are you all doing? It's a voice. It is indeed. Right, guys. Welcome to ModCon 2025. I'm going to spend the first 10 minutes or so just introducing this year's show, telling you what it's about, speaking of our charity, going over some schedules, and we'll take it from there. This is insanity. Holy crap, nice to see you. Right, ModCon 2025. So, this year, we have over 40 mods going from Crusader Kings free, we have Victoria free, and we even have Imperator Rome, which is a pleasant surprise. But specifically, what are we expecting today? Well, first of all, obviously the intro. You can tell I'm nervous, can't you? It's fine, it's gonna be great. We got some great trailers today. First of all, we have Dragon Age. Thedas at War, a brand new total conversion. Then we follow up with another new total conversion. We have the Four Nations, and then shortly after that, we have Script Smells and Science of Modding, a thesis presented by none other than Kaiser himself, which is interesting. We have Guardians of Azeroth, we have Iona Age of Woe, another new total conversion. And if that wasn't enough for you, guess what? We then have another new total conversion in the Wheel of Time, and then lastly, wrapping it all up with Lord of the Rings Realms in Exile. Obviously, this is going to be the first day of free. We have 5 shows. Tomorrow, Tarkus is going to have show 2, which the links are for in the description. It's also in the pinned comment in the chat as well. You guys can see that. You guys can see that. But yes, right, that's today's schedule. Should we talk about the charity? Because obviously, one part of ModCon is showing off and supporting the brilliant work that the community put in. But another half of it is also the charity fundraiser. So this year, we are raising money for the World Monuments Fund. So we're going to be gathering money for them for the cause that all of our favorite Paradox games owe to, the monuments of the world. The World Monuments Foundation has been working for 60 years now to preserve, protect, and rebuild the physical cultural heritage that we all benefit from, whether that be rebuilding a Yazidi shrine destroyed by conflict, guiding sustainable tourism to Khmer temples, or setting up an authentic garden in the Palace of Versailles. So as said, they've been working for over 60 years, 645 projects, some of which you can see on the screen now. Impressive stuff. 112 countries, and they also partner with local communities and governments. So if you can spare a donation, please feel free to donate to this year's charity. Last year, I think on day 1, we raised 1,300. So if we can match that, then you would make me massively happy. We'll see. Who knows? I'll tell you what, guys. If we can reach 100 before the first trailer starts, I will match that at the end of this month and do the same. Right. Also, speaking of Paradox earlier, we do have some game keys to give away, which I believe are, let's see, I think they're keys for the Chapter 4 bundle I heard rumors of. Is that true? I think some of the moderators should be able to post a link to that in chat. You don't need to sign up or anything. You just need to click on the link, provide your Discord, and then later, at some point in the stream, I will spin a wheel, and we shall pick some winners for that. So, huge thank you to Paradox for supporting us there. And already, Ember's Journey, 10 euros. Anonymous, £20 donation there. Elf Destiny with $11. Dafluve with 20 as well. You guys are legends. Absolutely smashing it already. Thank you guys. But yes, we will be running a giveaway as well. There we go. Kaiser's posted the link in the chat. Right. I do have 10 minutes to run the intro here. And it seems in my nervousness, I've spoken through that very quickly. So before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we won't start the first trailer for another 5 minutes, so you guys have time to reach the 100. In fact, I think we've already met it. So technically, we're already at 200, which I will send when YouTube give me my paycheck. I will honor that. Right. Guys, what are we most looking forward to today, then? What are we most excited for? I'm excited, I'll tell you that. If there's one thing I love in CK3, it's a fantasy total conversion, and our night is practically flooded with them, so I'm very excited. Holy crap, a $200 donation! Drain the Rock Lobster, what a legend. At 50-20, man, you guys are amazing. Absolutely brilliant. I love this community. The Four Nations, Lord of the Rings, Dragon Age, Realms. We have some amazing mods today. You're working on the Dragon Age mods? Obviously that one. Oh, I mean, obviously, of course. Right. I think I did cover it. Did I miss anything, Uber and Kaiser, in my nervousness? I'm sure in the next few minutes I'm going to settle down. But thank you guys for being here and supporting not just the World Monuments Fund, but also our modders as well that put so much passion into the mods that they make. It's truly inspiring, so thank you for supporting them as well. And if you're interested in any of the mods I mentioned today, I do have all of their Discords linked in the description, so feel free to join those and spread the love as well. I've covered it all. Amazing. I can look ahead at the schedules for the next few days. I'll be honest, Kaiser. In my panic, I kind of only prepared show 2's schedule. I'm a fool. I'm sorry. But yes, here, let's take a look at our schedule for today. Things were a little bit chaotic in the last few hours there, guys. You have to forgive me. I'll tell you what, whilst we're running one of the trailers, I'm going to get the other schedule sorted, and they'll be prepared for the halfway point. Because I should have some downtime. Yes, Tarkus, your schedule. Oh, man. Also, I got some throat singing in the background. I don't know, I love the new DLC's music. I think it's awesome. We got the planning schedule images done only 45 minutes in advance. Exactly. And I was pulling together my remaining OBS scenes, and then I realized that Discord's overlay feature only works if you have a game open, so I was fixing it. But I'm ready. I'm relaxed, Snick. That's a lie, but if I tell myself it's true. 500 donated. Holy crap, what's our total already? $500. You guys are bloody insane. Holy crap, you're amazing. Holy moly. I don't know what to say. You're just so good. The band that did the Step OST is Bouncering Vanchik. Look them up. Oh, thank you, Duke. Thank you. We're building a new pyramid with that money. Yes, and who knows, maybe we can protect it from my is ancestors correct? Descendants. Do the British steal monuments? I don't know. It's not controversial, guys, because I'm British. I'm sure that's in the small print somewhere. They protect the world's monuments and treasures within from the British museums. Anyway, right. It's 39 past. So I think we can begin speaking about our first mod. Who's excited? Because coming up first on tonight's show, we have a new total conversion based on BioWare's Dragon Age franchise, set during the Golden Age centuries before the hero of Ferelden and the companions ended the 5th Blight in Denerim. But you guys don't want to hear me talk about it, so how about we go ahead and we roll the trailer.
History is the beginning and end of all things. Every action has a cause and effect, and so too does inaction. Each living creature must make a choice, and then learn to live with the consequences. Thedas has seen its fair share of consequences, has it not? Oh, pardon my poor manners. I am known as Brother Genitivi. My role is that of a humble Chantry scholar, though some of you knew that already. Alas, I know why each of you are here. You wish to learn about the Glory Age, a time when the Second Blight had just come to an end. When Ferelden had neither king nor queen. Before the Delves were brought to ruin. When Orlais warred with her own people. To the southeast of Thedas and beyond the Frostback Mountains lies the land of the ancient Alamari. At this time, an ambitious man by the name of Tern Kedman declared himself king of Ferelden, which prompted civil war between himself and the other Terns and Arls of the land. Even those of Avar and Chastened descent seek to rise to glory by laying claim to the title of king or queen of Ferelden. Yes, this part of Thedas has never been left wanting for conflict, yet it continues to prove resourceful and strong even in the present. War is in their blood, such is the nature of the Dog Lords. Those that know the tale of the elves understand it to be a tragic one. They lost the last vestiges of their empire to the Tevinter Imperium, eventually earning themselves a new home in the Dells. Southwest of Thedas and beyond the Frostback Mountains, the remaining Elven reside in their home near Orlais. When the Second Blight ravaged the land, decimating much of the Orlesian Empire, the elves chose to stay behind their walls. Right or wrong, the human neighbors would not forget their inaction. This only fed the tensions between the humans and elves, which would eventually reach a breaking point at Red Crossing. This massacre led to the War of the Dells, and shortly after, the Exalted March. Orlais managed to weather the Second Blight, but not without scars. With the Orlesian Empire in disarray, it would appear that those in the Nahashian marshes believe they no longer require an emperor. Historically, scholars believe that Cordelis Drakon II was unable to escape his father's long shadow, which led some of his vassals to question his legitimacy as a ruler. For one Rue Marchette, a local lord in Nahashian of considerable popularity, enough was enough. While not much is known of Rue, it is said that he began the rebellion against the Orlesian Empire to secure the independence of the marshes. By the Maker, look at the hour. Hopefully you've learned something from this doddering old fool. Now, I need to get going, but I'm sure we'll see one another again, won't we? If you require an incentive, I suppose I could be convinced to spoil just a smidgen. Our next lesson will be about the strange arid jewel of Navarra, a place where both the living and dead toil for the betterment of society, and dragons dare not land. Until then, may the Maker watch over you, my friend. Our Thedas gives as much as she takes, but the question is, are you prepared to pay her price?
Holy crap! Was that high quality? And the map assets, the 3D assets as well. Oh wow, that's impressive. What did we think of that, guys? First trailer of ModCon. For me, that was epic. What a way to start. Judging by all the stuff I see in chat as well, we are very hyped. Meanwhile, I think we also hit $600 on the donations. You guys are absolutely rocking it so far. You love you some 3D modders? Oh, they're impressive. It looked absolute insane. As a former beta tester, we are in good hands. That's good to see. Oh man, that was brilliant. Right, guys, if that was good, then guess what? We're gonna match it. Because coming up next, we have another brand new total conversion. And if you are a fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender, Well then, do I have something to tell you? Because our next one is a total conversion based on Nickelodeon's Avatar The Last Airbender series, which takes place over 300 years before the events of the series in the era of Avatar Kyoshi. There's also a magic system known as bending, where you can manipulate earth, fire, air, and water. And who knows, the ambitious amongst you, if you want to become the Avatar, you can even master all 4 elements and attempt to bring balance and peace to the world. Doesn't that sound impressive? But that's enough from me. Let's go ahead and roll the second trailer.
History is the beginning and end of all things. Every action has a cause and effect, and so too does inaction. Each living creature must make a choice, and then learn to live with the consequences. Thedas has seen its fair share of consequences, has it not? Oh, pardon my poor manners. I am known as Brother Genitivi. My role is that of a humble Chantry scholar, though some of you knew that already. Alas, I know why each of you are here. You wish to learn about the...
Guys. What have I done? I've done it. I'm so sorry. I was downloading the fixed schedule. Right. That's a bonk on me. Right. Sorry. Hold the hype. We're coming back. Roll the correct trailer this time, damn it.
Fire. Air. Water. Earth. Qin the Conqueror is dead, by my hands. The world sighs in relief, the remnants of his empire quarrel. The chroniclers write his history. But what made Qin rise never went away. Even he did not satisfy the wish that is whispered across the 4 nations. The seas, the sand, the fire, and the wind all beg for the same. Change. The Earth Kingdom is still deeply wounded by the warlord's wake. The charred red banners now wash on its shores. Messenger hawks follow. The proud Fire Nation is entering a state of turmoil that could be more devastating than that of Qin. Little clears up as I get closer. The nation is shattered, and the loyalties are scattered, but blame for the situation is in surplus and evenly assigned. I cannot intervene without the certainty that my fists will strike true and build something better. I first need to investigate. What broke the Fire Nation?
Oh, I didn't expect you here, Avatar. Thank you for lending your hand once again.
Fire Lord, it's been a while.
Yes, 26 years since we've dealt with the clans.
Since I did your job, I took care of your enemies and left you a Fire Nation united. Your place secured. And what did you do with it?
Nothing, I swear. I've been every bit as righteous and benevolent as my predecessors. Just more vigilant than them, that's all.
Vigilant?
I'll show you then. Then you can set it right again. In fact, I'll explain the whole thing from the top, including who is truly responsible for this hiccup in Ember Throne authority.
I have some idea.
Oh, don't you imply I'm the one responsible? It is like last time. We were this close to chaos. You helped me there. I'll admit, you tackled my brother and his mother. Those two made noise when I was fresh on the throne, but your bending and my statecraft wrapped it up all nicely. But the underlying problem was the class of rotten men who reigned far from the Caldera, and who beg for special treatment on account of their ancestors. The entire aristocracy. They've been clogging up the gears of the Fire Nation ever since it was unified. And when they don't get what they want, they plunge us into war. And as you can see, now they've done it again. For instance, my very own cousin, The blood of my mother, Lord of Shuhan, by my grace, was one of the first to abandon his oath. And the Lord Kazuyama, for years I supported him in any way I could, despite his obsession for petty vengeance, and he now hates me because it didn't work out in his favor. Most curiously, my good Lord Cohen, my loyal subject, stopped paying heed to my commands as well. The moment he believed my flame to falter, he began conniving with those savages who now think they have spirits on their side. They dare call themselves kings amassed at our borders. Half of these traitors have now sworn fealty to my niece. They rally behind an infant, a mere infant, to place their puppet on my throne? After all my hard work, making this beautiful nation perfect, they're tearing it all apart. But now that you're here, we can patch it back together and punish those responsible. Just like so.
You explain everything and nothing. And how have the negotiations gone?
Oh yes, I've tried everything. I've offered Lord Cohen a generous amount of gold, valuable lands under his governance. Do you know what he responded with?
I would assume...
Abdication. He offers his tentative support if I just abandon my title. What spirit did I offend to have such hog monkeys for vassals?
You might want to consider it. Show that you care more about the Fire Nation than yourself.
And revert our society to feudal chaos? They haven't a clue what they're asking for. I must remain empowered and protect them from themselves. Some of them even demand that I convert to their pagan ways. There's just no reasoning with them. All they really want is to humiliate me.
I think I'll take a look for myself.
I expect you back in a fortnight.
We'll see. I think I'll pay a visit to the supporters of your niece.
If you don't help Kazuyama, the war is over!
Forget him. We need Lord Geico more.
Can Jito even speak Bonti yet?
Did Shei-Jin teach that girl nothing? This war
Which one of you is spying
we
for
let
Zoe?
Kazuyama get over it. You're all I can't win with us or not. I'm right.
Hey there, you must be Jito.
Wow, you're even bigger than the drill master.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm okay, I guess.
Okay, you can be honest with me. I'm the Avatar. I'm here for you.
I mean, there's lessons about walking, lessons about talking, many lessons about when to shut up. So I don't even know why they're teaching me to talk like a Fire Lord.
That's what they want with you. To be a tamed figurehead, to sit on the throne and let them act like it's empty.
I know, I understand, and I really want to make them happy. I do. But they make me sit through a tea ceremony right after I've had bending training.
You don't like bending?
No, not anymore. I mean, it's wicked, right? Doesn't it look awesome? You punch real hard and boom, everything is on fire. But it stopped being fun when they wanted me to get good at it. Or at least look good at it. Every morning I'm running laps, lifting stones and heating them until they glow. And they're giving me lectures about my chi and how to breathe and stuff. So I work, and then I can't even pant right. And there's like a bazillion moves. Like the fire saw, the one that goes boom. Or the fire whip. They tell me about how they work. And then I have to keep trying and trying until I've mastered them. But some are really hard. I just don't get the fire daggers while the other kids do. Maybe they actually like playing with knives. At least there's other moves. The library is full of scrolls. I can read them all. And maybe when I'm good enough, I could write my own. I just first have to do enough stupid work to get there.
Sounds to me like you dislike training, not bending.
Yeah, who even likes training?
Well, not all training involves lectures and castles. I went on an adventure myself.
An adventure?
People say I'm reckless, but I think there's really no better way to get in closer connection with your body, with your chi, than to depend on it out in the wilds. You could go on a long journey where you seek out fights to learn how to handle yourself, and sights to gain understanding of all bending has to offer, at the cost of a few scars.
Can I go on an adventure now?
Well, not now. When you're a little older.
How old?
Let's say 16?
9.
Okay, 14.
11.
13. Lowest I can go.
But that's 4 more years! And what will I even do when I get there? I'll be a Fire Lord by then. What use is a fire whip to me?
Well, you might get into some sticky situations. And that's not even considering the Agni Kai.
The Agni what now?
Oh, that's when you get into a fight with another firebender. You defeat him by knowing the right moves and using them when you should. You must keep the right distance, watch the changing terrain, and keep an eye on your opponent's exact stance to know how to defend against his attacks, and retaliate with your own. But no, you're way too young for that.
No, I'm not! I want it! I want it and I want it now!
That'll be some Fire Lord they're getting.
Hail, Avatar. Have you come to our aid?
I haven't decided yet.
Oh, but the child is fine, isn't she? We've made every effort to shape her into the ideal young Fire Lord. Our cause is surely more sympathetic than the likes of Gon Min.
And who would that be?
Oh, he's the most zealous chieftain of the Sun People. They're proud enough of their own little culture to want the entire Fire Nation destroyed.
Hail, Lord Go, what is that awful smell?
I sold my soap to buy steel for my soldiers.
That's, unfortunate. But I mean, it's such a mess. Don't you have housekeeping?
Of course, I have an 87-year-old maid. She's off at the training field.
What? Why?
Do not dismiss her prowess. She defeated 3 in Agni Kai this summer.
What are you doing?
We are preparing for war. The struggle of 100 lifetimes may be resolved in but one.
But what is the purpose of destroying the Fire Nation?
What purpose is there in keeping it around? Avatar Kyoshi, I know that war is not the glorious thing that young firebenders throwing their first bolts make it out to be. War is sacrifice. You need to give up the comforts of your hearth, invest your nation's youth, wealth, pride, and burn it all up to feed the war engine. War demands that you debase your morals in order to gain needed support. And I have done it. I have abandoned my true love. I have made false promises to do false deeds. But my conscience cannot be the cause of more deaths among the people of the sun. We need this war to be quick and victorious.
What is your point? Why do you do this?
Faith. The thing keeping the people of this world together is what separates them from each other. And it is only getting stronger and stranger. We used to simply put faith in the local patron spirit and in our sages to interpret their whims. Well, that has led to the occasional altercation. Spirits can be whimsical and ireful, and our sages incompetent or corrupt. You're not always around, Avatar, so we've had to make do. Some of us take different paths. Up north, those sun warriors, they fight not, sacrificing justice on the altar of pacifism. They live long and sageous lives, doing absolutely nothing in the face of creeping darkness. For the darkness will not come from spirit, but from man. I've studied enough history to know the trajectory of the nobles as they boil up in their caldera. Those people have sat on their throne for 1,000 years, and with every ritual they do to their phoenix in our lands, every one of our temples they tear down, they are spreading and ordaining their culture and their ideas and suppressing ours. We are dying. Death by 1,000 cuts to our identity. And I've seen where it's all headed. A time where hatred of the unfamiliar becomes not a byproduct of the faith, but its very purpose. Every successive Fire Lord has become more acclaimed and more revered, and soon we will have worship of the state be the ideology of the Fire Nation. The Fire Lord will determine what the nation and its people say, what they believe, what they think, what they are. We will go extinct, and we will be forgotten the next day.
You make all these predictions because he's your enemy.
And who will be his next? It's only a matter of time before this nationalized fury turns overseas. And what of your role then, Avatar? When the world needs you the most, will you be there? My conquest is one thing. One swath of land that our ancestors called home. Fertile land, enough for our population to grow. Or rather, stop dying. And, if I can have it, an end to the existence of the Fire Nation. This state is a disease upon the land, and my conquest may cure it.
Is that really all you want? A spot in the sun for your people? Not glorious conquest, an empire of your own?
Taking some land is all we can do, Avatar. Now that we have an inkling of a chance of saving our people from endless darkness, we'll take it. And if we lose, it will be in valor.
Marching songs are in the air, and red banners crenellate the horizon. I have only met 3 factions, but there is already no chance of compromise between them. 2 fight to sit on the throne, 1 fights to destroy it. That is, if I can even trust what any of them have claimed. And there's still more people, and peoples making use of this mess, who are just trying to weather the storm. All of them must be cared for. The air merchants in the Jeddah Valley, air nomads who left their temple to trade with luxury goods, and with their identity. The Ozawa province, Avatar Zeto's perfect little administration, where, a few centuries hence, rice is bought with blood. The Yogan people, who bend lava, the blood of the earth, if they can maintain their ways, as thousands of refugees of the Qin Wars are driven their way. The Utari, whose heritage is drowned under industry, and who united to retake their lands. The Valley of Shanli, a wellspring of living spirit mist that judges every soul. Its people have adapted, and are ruthless in protecting their home. There's zealots of the bow, and zealots of the healing hand, and the road, crowded by refugees, still has wanderers of their own purposes. They live outside the law, as I once did, and seem minded to make the same impact. There is no end to the complexities of the Fire Nation. There is no end to injustice. No end to the duties of the Avatar. Which is why there must be no end to my vigilance. I must keep traveling this land for as long as they need me to, intervening where necessary. I must stave off the worst crimes, save those who are in my reach. I must never let up, never take a pause from duty, until this dark time has passed. But the future of the Fire Nation? I cannot decide that for them. I cannot set the course of their destiny. It will all have to be laid out.
Holy crap, guys. What a mod. What did we think of that? I must say, the air bending, or the bending in general, sorry, and the combat system, man, I cannot wait to try it out. What a trailer. The production quality this year is absolute insanity. Right, I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions. And luckily for you, we now have a live Q&A panel with the developers of the 4 nations. So if you have any questions, I think Kaiser is going to put a link in the chat now. So please fill that out and they will do their best to answer. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I mean, I'm Freystin. I am the lead artist. I made all of the cool models in the trailer, or most of them at least. Thank you for the kind replies in the chat. Thank you very much.
I'm Anthony. I work on the character DNAs and the portraits, and that's pretty much my role within the group.
Go. Yeah, you go next. Sorry, we didn't figure out an order. Go.
Yeah, I'm Kaiser. Now you've heard my name a lot and my voice once, but yeah, I guess I am a jack of all trades and master of none. But I made a bunch of things that you saw in this trailer, and a bunch of things you didn't.
And I'm Vogjam. I kind of just got here, and then was thrown into the editing of this video. I've written a couple of like events for the mod, but not much else because ModCon was just round the corner. So that's mainly what I've been doing.
I mean, you're selling yourself short. That was an absolutely amazing trailer.
Extremely. Like, he did everything. We just gave him clips and videos.
That is a fact.
The crunch was real, but it's been worth it. It's been good.
Oh yeah, and he voiced Gangbin, by the way. So if you were fond of him and his style, yeah, all fucked you.
Yeah. Well, we ran out of voice actors, so I had to step in and do the angry guy with the Sun Temple and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I can do angry. Can't do the other range of emotions. But anyway, yeah. Should we see with what we're being asked? I've just seen an absolute flood of questions coming in. So we should probably get started.
Yeah, it looks like we have 14 questions already in.
Wow.
Like that's
5:15.
Yeah, they're pouring in. So yeah, as the forum says, we are getting more questions than we will have time to answer. And so anything that we won't get to, you can ask us in our Discord server. You can also right now sign up in the Discord server for testing. I will make that apply for testing channel public. You can of course sign up to become a developer because like every single team, we need more developers.
Mm-hmm.
Until then, we'll be here for you and we'll answer the interesting questions and anything else you can just ask us anyway in the server, and we'll get to them when we are able to.
Yeah, that's good because one of the questions is, are you recruiting? And the answer is yes, and will probably always be yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever say, yeah, this is too many team members. Like, who needs this? I just overcrowded. Like a Game of Thrones, can you just take some of our team members?
Yeah.
All right, so there's a lot of stuff. Are the lava benders, earth benders, or fire benders? That's a great lore question to start with us off. That's actually like one of the things that has different interpretations between the Legend of Aang series and the Legend of Korra series. And when we are adapting the lore in general, we are always like the lore that comes from the animated shows is the first. I think we look to, in that case, they are kind of treated equally. So as for lava benders, it is a form of earth bending. We are taking their interpretation. But for anything else, when we are adapting the setting, which we are doing, when we're making it into a total conversion, we will, of course, have to choose how we fill in the gaps. And sometimes, we narratively tie certain things together. Then, what is that pentagon-looking city in the middle of an island southwest of Caldera City? I think Freystine would know the answer to that.
I mean, I think it's the northern Star Fortress, the capital of Kyozan. If you go, the capital of Kyozan.
Yeah.
That is mod lore, basically. We had, I don't know where this name comes from, Northern Star Fortress, and I was like, yeah, what does a Northern Star Fortress look like? So we have for multiple regional capitals in the Fire Nation special models, like for example the capital of Kyozan, because that will be in our bookmark, a very important city with the High Lord Koan there. There's also, of course, the Caldera capital, the capital of the Banti people, and but that is not yet built. For the fans of you will probably know, there is this large gate at the entrance to the inner sea, and you will be able to build another city there. Yeah, you are at the right point, the strait. At the moment, there's only a little bit of an harbor there, but you will be able to build a city and a large statue with flaming fists there. If you are a Fire Lord, of course. If you play as another nation, or maybe you throw a 180 and conquer the Fire Nation as, I don't know, airbenders, then you will have a different model appear there. And yeah, so to answer the question, that is one of our our special Fire Nation capital models.
Okay. Very good answer. I think that also answered one of our earliest questions. How does this mod look so amazing? And I think the answer is, for the most part, the map. Like, FaceTime made other 3D models, but they also like defined the look of the map itself. The black earth because of the volcanic soil. All the little staircase that goes up to the caldera. The harbor, the back cliffs, the pyramids, the waterfalls.
Yeah, let's look at the Fire Nation capital palace. It's just like,
yeah, that was
it's such an iconic.
That was a model made by Valadar. We are very grateful for that. Yeah, he is also in the chat. He made the base model. Valadar, you can hear me right now. It was a great model, but you made it way too polygon heavy. I had to rip out so much. It was absolutely hideous. I mean, great model, but you don't need to make like one dragon head at the front of this palace have enough polygons to fill like the entire Fire Nation.
Let's be honest, it was a sabotage. He was trying to destroy us.
That was melting my PC, so I had to like simplify it a lot. But yeah, that is the capital, and with the Fire Nation Palace and the First Lord's Harbor right next to it. Also, not yet in the timeline built up like we see in the Avatar show. That is something that you as a player can do.
Beautiful.
I think one of the questions saying like, how do you expect the All Under Heaven expansion to help you in development? I think it might have already when we were talking about 3D models. I think.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the boat?
Yeah, the boat, the legendary boat. I was like, okay, we need a boat. We need like a Chinese junk boat. These for our mod, because these cogs, these European style ships, they were always throwing me off. So I was like, yeah, I will now do today one Chinese inspired boat. And literally on that day, the CK3 team announced the All Under Heaven expansion, and I was like, yeah, okay, good. That will help us a lot. Especially every modder will know all these little details, the illustrations, the 3D models, the clothing and stuff. That this will make so much things so much easier. Also with the new special mechanics that were teased already. I think we are all already excited to dive deep into that and see how it furthers our mod.
Yeah, it's going to give us way more toys to play with once it's out. So
yes,
suits me just fine. Yeah.
I see a lot of questions about our future plans, and I think it's pretty important to get that clear. So, like, as you have seen in the trailer, what we are building now is a playable map of the Fire Nation. And if you zoom out a little more, you can see it is a very big area. It is already very diverse, but yet we are not done yet. After we are going to release with the Fire Nation because we are building story content directly around what the Fire Nation will be going through as part of as the outfall of Zoryu's massive screw up. Basically, you can see more about that if you are able to play the mod. We are focusing on releasing that. We do have a lot of stuff in there that will be very helpful for when we get to expanding. For example, we have vendors of every element on the map. We have air merchants in the north, and they are like we have done a lot of invention because if you are just looking for cannon sources, there will be 4 or 5 places in the Fire Nation to go on and nothing else. But so we added more diverse cultures. One of them is the air merchants, who are an offshoot of the air nomads who have stopped living in temples and started taking their bisons to go on trading. But yeah, as a result, they suffer some consequences theologically, bender-y. There's probably no good adjective for that. And it has some mental repercussions. But yeah, after we are now focusing on making this the best it can be, then we imagine that we will. I mean, it all depends on how it goes with and on our heaven. We will probably just derail us for a little bit as we take that in. But in terms of map expansions, we are then looking towards adding the great landmass to the north, which is called Yudao and the Air Temple. So those two can, because the Air Temples, of course, can be playable, but they can be interactable. But yeah, that's just dreams right now. We do have, like, again, thanks to FaceTime, we have the modeled out in terms of terrain. So when you're playing inside the Fire Nation, you will be able to look longingly at the lands you're not yet able to conquer too much soon. Okay. Is only firebending planned to be included at launch? Well, like as I said, all 4 elements are included at launch, but we don't have the proper. We probably won't have the full-fledged bending experience for every single element at launch, like the stuff you saw with the abilities, with learning, with scrolls, etc., etc. It's possible that for the 3 other elements, it will just be a modifier trait. For the fire benders, it will have a couple more uses, including, of course, the dual system, which when we are releasing with it, it will just always be an FPK because we're only releasing with the Firebender being a fully flexed bending ability. But yeah, how does it work? Well, you'll have to wait until we start writing dev diaries about it because we do plan on getting to those pretty soon.
Yeah, I guess another one I've seen a couple of times is a playable avatar, which long term, probably not at the launch of the mod. I mean, you guys can speak more to that, but yeah, one day.
One day. We are taking it into account when we are building the framework because, like, we have an avatar who is playing a role, and so interacting with the avatar is just as important, if not more important, as like being the avatar him or herself. So yeah, we're taking it into account, but playable avatar, not for first release.
Yeah, but Kiyoshi will be traveling around the maps, basically judging you for every thing you do, every war you declare, every person you murder. Just got to be a bit. It's like normal CK3, but you've got to be a little bit more careful because Kiyoshi's always watching.
Yeah,
the avatar may hold you to account.
With vanilla is that the Pope has weapons of mass destruction if you disobey him.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is. We are going to be writing so much on that and how we're taking into account how we also try to not make it too annoying because a lot of what somebody playing CK3 is doing exactly the opposite of what the avatar would want you to be doing, like conquering land. That is so unmoral, so unharmonic. Another good question. How friendly will the mod be for people with no prior contact with the setting? Well, we are making huge efforts to try to explain our lore with a couple different, mostly graphical materials. So like the intro that you saw in our very trailer and the drawings, also created by Freystein. He is like 90% of his mod look good. It is really true. Like, and the other 5% is Valadar and a little bit from the rest of us combined. But yeah, there is That's actually an adaptation of the illustrations that are used to explain the lore as you pop up the game. So, like, as you start up the game, you will get a whole lore dump just by starting to play. And we will also be explaining mechanics, explaining bending, explaining interacting with the avatar, interacting with all of our story characters as in universe as we can do it. And we'll be using a lot of that. So it should be good to just hop in with zero experience. But if you have read the books, particularly if you have read the second book, Shadow of Kyoshi, you might get something more out of certain elements. We occasionally have a spoiler warning for that particular book because we are using its events to a certain extent, but it's not necessary. And if you want to avoid spoilers, you will be able to.
Nice. Yeah, Kiyoshi won't die anytime soon. I've just seen that comment. Yeah, that's helpful. It means we don't have to think about what happens to future avatars just yet, because Kiyoshi's going to be around for quite a while.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you. God bless Brike's terrible maths. It's a blessing.
I do see another good question. How many Lees are in the mod? And we know that canonically there are 1 million Lees in the Fire Nation. In our adaptation of the lore, we have taken a liberty, and we currently only have 1 Lee in the Fire Nation, and that is actually not a character, but it is a potential pet for the avatar. So if the avatar is walking around, like Aang has his Sky Bison Appa and his lemur Momo, Kyoshi does not yet have a pet in canon, which means that she will just dynamically select one. So it would be a Shearshu called Lee. That is our only Lee so far, a hypothetical animal. And that animal, when the avatar goes to visit you, may be a bulky creature that takes some getting used to. It will be very complicated to interact with the avatar at times.
Can you attempt to kill an avatar? Yeah, why not?
You can attempt. I'm not saying.
Attempt.
Yeah, of course.
Might not be a great idea.
It is. In the avatar mechanics that we are designing, it is more beneficial to try to get the avatar to agree with you, to see your side of things, and so it is more useful to actually befriend her, manipulate her. Like I say her because it's always Kyoshi in our current setting. You may find that more useful and also more accomplishable than actually going fist to fist or actually fire to fire with this. As a Pope with weapons of mass destruction. It's not really the most smart thing to directly go after her.
Look at some.
I see a common question in chat, which is very CK3 themed. Can you seduce Kyoshi?
I had a feeling something like that was coming.
It's coming up a lot in the chat.
I think she's in a pretty committed relationship right now, but I mean, the game takes place over multiple generations, so at some point, because Kyoshi just lived for a very long time, so she might end up single again. And then you have certain, the avatar is a character. Spirits are not characters, because we are not going to be able to go as far as a Game of Thrones. And actually it's a tactical hurdle that we are not crossing because we don't want to. But the avatar can be interacted with in a lot of very common CK3 ways. Which includes, of course, the murder plot, but yeah, good luck with that. Just good luck.
Yeah. The true bending is backbending. Is a true bending.
Oh dear. That's not a feature. I make it clear you can't get skills in that.
There's always submods, guys.
Another question that I saw was how large the Fire Nation is county-wise or province-wise. I just looked that up in our Excel file, and it's around 900 provinces. If that helps the guy that asked that question.
I'm so glad you looked it up because I had no idea.
Of vanilla. But we have covered like 1/10 of the entire world, so it looks like we're just going
that was our goal, that we do not want to make it more than vanilla at the current moment, because we know that the expansion is coming up. So that will be like a question then.
Yeah. So, but even though it's just the Fire Nation at the moment, it's going to be large enough and diverse enough and have enough going on that it's going to, feel like a fully
That will be
playable game.
something
Yeah.
for testing. I already know that there are 2 or 3 islands that are a little bit sparse at the moment, but overall, I think that we can be very proud of what we already have achieved.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Has the game system ever prevented you from developing some ideas? That is, I think, very much a common theme in mod development. Sometimes it is usually better to work with the systems that you're given or to completely sidestep them. So, for example, if I have an ID for a system, if I have an ID for something like a bender goes on an adventure, then I can decide to, okay, I'm just ignoring activities, or I'm going to make it into activity with all that entails. And so for the bending adventure, I took an activity. But if you need to do something completely new, like negotiations, well, then you're just going to have to do a custom GUI, which is also fun, but harder to maintain. So the game systems has, for example, guided us in how we want the Fire Nation to evolve over time. Because initially there was an idea to have a struggle for the fate of the Fire Nation. So the central conflict is Fire Lord Soryu is trying to keep the nation together and also to centralize it, to mold it in his perfect bureaucratic image. And the rest of the Fire Nation is not really quite on board with that. So we thought, struggle! There's a long spanning conflict between 2 groups. And then we started looking at how our struggles actually defined, and there's no groups. The Iberian struggle does not have a definition for the Muslim side and the Christian side and anyone else. It is just everybody's equal. So at that point, we couldn't come up with the good ideas to really separate the 2 camps, than to do like a trade system, and that just falls weird. So the struggle for the Fire Nation is not for release. But then, like, on comes Concept of Step, and they have situations, and they have definable sides. So now it is still not planned for release, but it is still a little bit more doable. So yeah, we work with what the game offers us, and sometimes that changes our timeline. But the ideas that we have, we will always try to implement them.
Yeah.
Can you show the de jure counties, kingdoms, etc.?
I certainly can.
Yeah.
So we can go
Someone
to the
asked in the chat
duchies.
for duchies and kingdoms.
This would be the duchies. And
also shout out, sorry, Boops, just the $272 donation. I know this is
Wow.
our time, but holy shit!
Wow, cool!
Wow,
That's incredible.
Okay, that's incredible.
What a legend. That's $1,000 overall now as well. You guys are insane.
We are now, like, I'm so sorry, JBD, because now we are at about what this entire stream raised, the first stream of the last ModCon, and we are only, what is it, 1 hour in?
Yeah, we're only mod 2 out of
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to the Atlas CK2 team. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We will happily take all credit.
Yeah, it was so easy. We just copy paste from Secret 2 to Secret 3, and then we just started working on models. That's how.
Yep.
Stop telling people what you're doing.
Just press the make 3D button. That's how it works.
Yeah.
This would be the kingdom split of the lands.
Yeah, some kingdoms are called provinces because some of them are under different government types. You can. Government types is also something that we are kind of delaying until all under heaven, because there are some very interesting plans that we have seen in the dev diaries. And so, if we are doing a release before all under heaven, and we don't know yet because the release time is when it's ready. If we do that, it will not be with bespoke government types, because we want to do whatever they are doing for the East Asian countries, or like take those ideas. We're not going to copy paste Japan into the Fire Nation. That is, we're not going to do that. We have way bigger dreams.
Right, I think we have time for, let's say, 2 more questions.
Yeah,
Who
there's no
wants
new
to
questions in the Google form is a little bit dry. So, like, if you still want to submit any, now's the time.
In the meantime, you can show the models on the Earth Kingdom coast when you go to where the island chain meets the Earth Kingdom. There are some cool sprawl. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have holding
All
sprawl.
of you who didn't saw it, we have our own simple sprawl system. So if you develop your province, you will also see that represented on the map, because that will be somewhat important when we have spirits, angry spirits, because you chopped down all the forests in your provinces. That might be not a good idea.
Yeah, if you ever get an angry spirit, you might have to do some very whatever. Either you have to kill the spirit, and that's not really easy if you're a small lord, or you have to do whatever satisfies their rage, and yeah, that might just be something very humiliating. So yeah, stay clear of them.
Sometimes you just lose your face. You know, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah. It happens. Okay, I don't see any more questions in the forum. I hope it's still. If there's any, I have not been watching the stream because there's a delay.
There were some questions about dragons and riding bisons. That's not planned at the moment.
No. We have a roadmap. We have an MVP. We're sticking to it. And yeah, we're not going to have those as characters, but we will try to represent everything that is interesting in the setting and that can have an interesting effect in Secret 3.
Sun Warriors, yeah, there are Sun Warriors.
Yeah,
you can go to their
see a
capital.
couple.
So we've got the Sun People in.
And then the Sun Warriors are the
and
ones
then
in the Little
above them,
Islands.
we have the Sun Warriors.
With their big ass temple.
So that's the angry guy, and then
The eternal
actual
flame is lit.
Yeah, that one is not start. Oh, we got something cabbages. Well, we have bands. There are actually cabbages in the trailer if you listen really closely. We have them.
There's an Easter egg. There are cabbages. I heard them loud and clear.
Yes.
We are talking about this. Wait. I have this open. The trailer will now be live. Wait. Can I make it immediately, or do I have to make a schedule?
We'll publish it after this is done, because now I think that we need to give time.
Yeah, drag people away from the other mods.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we will.
There's a couple of things coming
YouTube
up.
channel where you can re-watch the trailer after the con is over, so you can listen again and look where the cabbage guy was hidden.
I feel like this question in chat is relevant to a lot of people. Will the mod be playable without DLC?
Okay, we are. So it all depends. Currently it is, but we believe that All on the Heaven will include so much Asian content that basically we would be doing a lot of work twice if we ever try to go around it. So we expect that All on the Heaven will become a required DLC when it comes out, but we can't say so for sure just yet.
Okay. Do we want one more question? we can push it. I know I said 2, but one more. Everyone's loving it.
How long have you been working on the mod? Well, it's been in development for quite some time, but like the active phase of production with a larger team, it's about 1 year. This is just 1 year of work with just very passionate people and like a lot of people. So we have about 10 people who are like active contributors, and of those 5 are just very high production value. It is not, I don't know how smaller teams can manage to make total conversions. We need everything we have. So join the team, please, or become an alpha tester, which will be opening. No, I believe.
Yeah. Discord's always open. There's no commitment to need to do anything, even if you just want to join and keep updated on stuff. But yeah, if you ever do feel like you want to become a contributor in any way you can, the door's always open. And I don't think that we don't have any like requirements on like someone who's got like, you need X amount of experience. It's mostly just if you're willing to give up your some of your time to work on a project with a bunch of passionate people, that's the most we can really ask.
Yeah, this is all passion based.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and shout out to the the voice actors that we got. They were They were amazing.
Yeah.
I've seen Blackjack in the chat, and I don't know if Delusional's around, but yeah, it was the trailer would not have been possible without those guys.
Right then. Well,
Yeah,
thank you guys
yeah.
very much. I know I definitely enjoyed that trailer, and I'm hyped to play it when it releases. If they want to ask more questions, I assume your Discord is probably the best place to ask you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. So if you guys, I think Lord posted the link just earlier. There's also a link in the description. Go and join their Discord, show them some love, and bombard them with your questions. I'm sure they'll be happy to answer those. But thank you guys. I really enjoyed that. And I look forward
thanks
for having
to
us.
playing it.
Yeah, and thanks for everyone for watching and showing interest. It's pretty hype start to the weekend.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'll see you in a few seconds, I guess, for you. Cheers, guys.
Who could be up next?
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah. Don't have everything off of me yet.
Right, there we go. Okay, I'm getting my own monitors organized. What do we think of that? I'm hyped. I'll tell you what, guys. I'm so damn hyped for that. I think it's gonna be amazing. Also, I'm hyped for our bloody donations. We've only gone ahead and reached $1,000 raised. You guys are absolute insanity. We're only $300 from last year's day one target. I think we can hit it. I think we can do it. But guys, actually, no, double but. But £69. See, now that's a man of culture there. Sorry. Don't forget, we are doing a giveaway. Thanks to Paradox, they have given us some Chapter 4 keys to give away. So if you want to enter that giveaway, someone should post a link in the chat now. Make sure you enter that because we're going to be doing the draw later this stream. But now we are on to what is next? Where's my note? Script spells and the science of modding. Because what Kaiser didn't tell his fellow modders on the 4 Nation is that for the last year or so, he's been studying them as lab rats. So coming up next, we have a scientific study presented by none other than Kaiser himself. The following video is an explanation of the motivation, questions, and methodology of his ongoing master's thesis study on CK3 modding. It explains why the project was approved, what is so interesting about CK3 modding from a scientific perspective, and explains a programming concept called a smell, a way for programmers to say what they don't like, what you are writing. It sounds interesting. I'm actually really hyped for this. Also, fun fact, apparently every picture in the presentation was taken by Kaiser himself. So why don't we go ahead and have a look at it?
Welcome! Thank you so much for coming involuntarily to my presentation on cataloging and detecting code smells for modding.
Really? It's going to be 9 minutes until we get back to the good stuff with Guardians of Azeroth.
You're just going to have to sit through it. Do it for the Horde. So yeah, I'm doing a master's thesis on CK3 modding. And I'm sure you're asking, why? Well, that's going to be the first chapter. Then we continue down the scientific method. What do I want to know? How will I get the answer? And how will I know I have the right answer? I want you to imagine for a moment an isolated tribal village with a traditional way of life. If one of the villagers has a headache, she doesn't go to the apothecary, but to the shaman. The shaman knows just what to do, he was taught by the previous shaman, and he will prescribe a herb to exorcise the evil spirits that are causing the headache. One scientist hears this and laughs, but a more clever scientist investigates the herb and finds that it has a compound against migraine in it. So the knowledge of the shaman was not wrong, and the herb was in fact new to the scientist. Now, the modders of CK3 are in a village of their own. Their community is the Discord server. Their experience is in programming in the CK3 script. They are not in contact with other programmers, at least not formally. And yet, they have been writing mods for years, decades in some cases. They will have acquired experiential knowledge. And that's knowledge that an astute scientist can investigate and perhaps learn something from. That's the why. Now, most of us have probably seen this before, the CK3 scripting language, which is used to define hundreds of kinds of entities in the game. What fewer of you may know is that it is an old language. Its earliest predecessor was made in 2001 for the game Europa Universalis 2. From there on, it was continuously ported and expanded for every next game that Paradox made. What that means is that it wasn't designed at some point. It started simple and just gathered features from there. Those features mimic other languages, but they aren't the same. In fact, the whole thing is a very weird language, with weird constructs, some not found in any other programming language that I know. That contributes to the isolationism of CK3 programmers, because what we're doing often only makes sense to us. And that's why ChatGPT and the like doesn't understand a thing of the language. This comes with growing challenges. There's very little supporting the models when developing these programs, there's very few supporting tools. Then the scripts are getting humongous too, and so the challenge of maintaining script quality only increases. And now modders in particular have a challenge. That's because when you're making a mod, you're not making a program. You're making an adaptation of an existing program. You're making a difference, literally. That difference needs to be rebased constantly whenever there's a new game version. It's what we call compatching in the community. So that entails that there's good and bad ways to make differences. There's quality considerations here. Modders have built an intuition and heuristics for how to make good edits. So how do we resolve the challenges? Well, a smell detector might do it. A code over script smell is a handy programming term for an undesirable pattern. It's a very loose term because there's often no strict definition. It's just an example of a thing that smells bad. Something like a very long method or structuring your program in a very convoluted way. It's not a bug, the thing will work, but it's harder to read and to understand. And if these pile up, you get spaghetti code. Most programming languages have smell detectors. Those automatically detect the smells and often suggest the fixes. They point you at a part of your program that's in the greatest need of a refactor to make the whole thing more maintainable. So, I'm trying to apply that paradigm to CK3 modding. I'm going to have to define new smells, both the common smells, which are patterns in CK3 script that are weird, and diff smells, which are patterns in changes in CK3 script. And that brings me to my research question. How can a smell detector help developers in writing maintainable PSL CK3, which is my name for the scripting languages? As for sub-questions, what known smells apply to PSL CK3 and what new smells can be cataloged for PSL CK3. I will mostly be talking about those two because that's where I am in the research process, but the other two questions are how can diff smells be detected in PSL CK3 and how can the detected smells best be reported to the users of the language. You know that Realms in Exile is coming later this evening, but here you are, still stuck with me for now. So finally, why is it useful? How in the world did I convince my professors to let me study this? Well, there's 3 reasons. 1, it's useful for us, that counts. 2, the process of finding smells in a domain-specific language can be used for other DSLs, so I must really document what I'm doing. Finally, the diff smell is itself a new concept that I'm introducing, and it may be useful to describe things in more formal programming. Essentially, the professional programmers can learn from what we have been doing for years. My method starts at the start by taking a catalog of existing smells from the scientific literature. There are about 67 in the catalog I took, and I filtered them by: does the program and its solution both exist in PSL CK3? Is it objective and detectable with a simple enough algorithm? And is it not too abstract? Because there are some where the problem is a very long way from something that somebody can see when looking at the piece of script. Then I use that filtered catalog to make the initial set of smell definitions. I've given each definition that makes sense to the CK3 modder and examples in the CK3 script. Now we get to the meat of the study. The Delphi study. It is feedback time. The Delphi study is a series of surveys structured in multiple rounds, where the answers of the group are summarized and relayed back to the respondent for the next round. The same question is asked multiple times, the next times with the public feedback. This is a guided discussion to build consensus from the collective insights of the group. This was originally called the Delphi study because it was first used for getting predictions from economic experts about the turns of the market. So like the Oracle of Delphi, it was meant to predict the future. The Delphi study will also be used for the second research question for finding new smells. That is, I will also be asking respondents to submit their own new smells. Those are then added to the pool and refined as well over the next few rounds. This overcomplicated diagram shows an overview of my Delphi study. You will see that between rounds, the researcher, I, make new smells and make them into questionnaires. Then the panel gives feedback on those and that leads to refined spell definitions. Those are then sent back to me, where I incorporate the feedback and summarize the discussion, and then they are sent back for the panel for more feedback. Now briefly the third and the fourth research questions. I will be building a smell detector based on the smell definitions that the panel has come up with. That smell detector will, most likely, be implemented as an extension on Visual Studio Code, which most modders use, and it will report problems in line as can be expected of a linter. Finally, the smell detector will also produce statistics and metrics that I can use for validation. Now for validation, I have downloaded mods from all of the Delphi study participants. When the smell detector is completed, I will of course run it on each of those mods and get the reports and statistics I need. I will also be running competing analyzers, such as CQ3 Tiger, and I will finally run the mods themselves on CQ3 mod and get error counts, for example. I will use that for validation to test if the smells that the process has defined are any good, because I will be checking for correlation between detected smells and actual errors. Finally, I will also be validating if my reporting is any good with the feedback survey. And here you have, in a nutshell, my entire research process. Feel free to pause the stream here to take a closer look if you are more curious about this than things like, I don't know, actual mod trailers. In any case, that was the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for listening, even if you had no choice. And I sure hope the next mod trailer can get the excitement back after I have thoroughly killed it.
Thank you very much, Kaiser. I'm sorry, guys. I was dared to play it again. It's not my fault. I crumbled to social pressure. Thank you very much, Kaiser. I actually really enjoyed that. Big brain stuff. Yes, indeed. It definitely was. Right, guys. We have raised over $1,100 so far, which puts us less than 200 away from our goal. So thank you for that. Of course, we are raising money for World Monuments Fund, which we did go over at the beginning of the stream. Also, don't forget, we are doing a giveaway. So if you see the link in chat, which someone should post now, don't forget to enter that, because the draw is edging ever nearer. But guys, what do we have going on next? Something tells me we have more total conversions. So next, we have a total conversion set in the world of Azeroth. Replay the historical timeline of Warcraft 3 with parts of Warcraft 2 also available. I think they also have plans to implement World of Warcraft later on. There's dozens of fantasy races, unique governments, mechanics, and even a work in progress new and unique magic system. Guys, let's go ahead and roll the trailer.
You're gonna love this!
Oh man, I tell you what, it's banger after banger tonight. That is an insane trailer. The music reminds you of Warcraft 2? It does, it does. What do we think about that, guys? That's exciting. Is it necessary to join ModCon Discord to take part in the giveaway? One of the moderators should be able to answer that. Magic system, yes. Oh, the 3D models. I'll tell you what, the thing that impresses me with all of these total conversions is the custom maps, the artwork, the 3D assets. So much passion and time and energy goes into these, and we can play them for free. It's honestly bloody amazing. But guys, if you want to keep up to date with Guardians of Azeroth, make sure you join their Discord. It's linked in the description as well, and I see the link in chat as well. I'm excited. We are not prepared. Indeed, we're not. And I'll tell you what else we're not prepared for, because guess what's coming up next? It's only another total conversion mod. This time, we have a total conversion called Iona, Age of Woe. So after the cataclysmic god war ruined life across the world of Iona, a new stage was set. The festering remnants of divine armies haunt much of the lands. The old world is dead, and its heirs see nothing but a new landscape to shape and claim as their own. It's a brand new total conversion where festering grudges and rich history collide after the cataclysmic fall of the old world order. That sounds exciting. How about we go ahead and look at the trailer?
May I tell you a story, my prince? In the days before the great cataclysm and the divine sundering of the world, the empire of the Golden Sun, the empire of your forefathers, stood on the brink of collapse. Their sworn enemy, the elven host of the Volokar, held an all but absolute power over the world of men. Kings fell to their might. Rebel sons knelt before their new elven emperor. Even our own imperial forces could not stop them from razing our capital. On the eve of our final defeat by the Volokar, and as if prompted by nothing but their own heavenly design, the gods fell on our world with a violent passion. A ruinous war for the heavens broke out upon Iona, shattering the old order into 1,000 pieces. For 13 years, the gods' terrible power raged. Continents were vitrified, great islands sunk, and when God killed God, the very earth would weep in awe. When the last god fell, a new world was born from their holy ashes, and a new age began. An age of ruin, and an age of blood and bonds. An age of godlessness, and an age of woe.
Well, Jackson Cadian, thank you very much for all of your efforts there. I'm actually looking forward. I thought that was quite cool. What do we think? It definitely set the atmosphere very well, and it's certainly going to be a mod on my radar to check out when it releases. Now, I'm going to have to buy a second SSD with all these total conversions. I just got one. I'm going to need a third one. Right, guys. If you want to join the giveaway, now is your last chance. So, make sure if you want to join it, click the links because very soon we are going to be doing it, the draw, live on stream. So last chance, last call. Also, where are we up to now? 1155. You guys are rocking it with the donations. We're so close. We're like 130 away from breaking even with last year. We can do it. I believe it. Iona has got Heard You at Home vibes. I mean, Got Heard You's another one that I find really immersive. I'm hyped for Iona. I'm definitely going to play it when it releases. You need more space too? I feel that. I feel that. Right. Guys. Once this next trailer starts, that's the cutoff for entering the giveaway. So last call. Last call. Iona and Got Heard You are best friends. Don't try and come between us. That's good to know, Lonely. Yes, anyone tries to come between that, we shall send them to the dungeons and be rid of them. We can send them to be Kaiser's lab rat. How about that? I'm sure Kaiser will want more rats. Oh, not calling... Well, I'm digging myself a hole here, guys. I say we just go ahead and start the next trailer. What have we got next? We have... Guess what? You won't guess it, guys. Another total conversion based on Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time book series, which will allow players to play through the main story of the series. It includes unique systems such as the Blight situation and even a wilderness and settlement systems. I mean, that sounds exciting. Someone just put Dragon Age in the chat. We've had Dragon Age 3 times, guys. Right, before I roll the trailer, I do want to just give a spoiler warning that the devs have asked me to say. If you do not want a spoiler for the book series because you're reading it or plan to read it, mute the stream for the next 2 minutes or so. And I guess I shall see all of you in a couple of minutes. The Wheel of Time.
The wheel of time turns, and ages come and pass, leaving memories that become legend. Legend fades to myth, and even myth is long forgotten when the age that gave it birth comes again. In one age, called the Third Age by some, an age yet to come, an age long past, a wind rose. The wind was not the beginning. There are neither beginnings nor endings to the turning of the Wheel of Time. But it was a beginning. Experience firsthand the world of Robert Jordan's famous book series through Crusader Kings 3, The Wheel of Time. Take control of characters from the novels and guide them through their destinies. Stick to the story as written by the author, or diverge from the narrative to create your own path. Navigate the vibrant world of the Westerns, from the Dragon Wall to the Aryth Ocean, and rise to power over nations through unique systems directly from the source material. Push back the wilderness that has overtaken the lands once held by mankind, and resurrect the fallen kingdoms of the world. Take up arms as a Borderlander, repel Shadowspawn invasions, take the fight to Sheol Ghul, and halt the relentless advance of the Blight. Or die trying. If you want to keep up with the development and eventual release of Crusader Kings 3, The Wheel of Time, join our Discord server.
Oh, wow. We are being so spoiled. Already, it's only the first show of ModCon, and already, man, I keep on saying it that I'm hyped, but I don't know what else to say, guys. It's just quality after quality after quality. What do we all think of that? You can unmute now, by the way, unless... I guess if you're muted, you won't hear me say that. Unmute, damn it. But yeah, man, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Right, guys. Thank you, Duel, for the $20. We are getting closer to matching last year's day one. We're getting ever so close. But I think it's time. I see the chat chanting Grond already. But before that, we are going to do a giveaway. So, bear with me, because I haven't prepared this beforehand. I believe I'm getting sent a list of names now. And here, let me open an incognito tab, because last thing I want to do is dox myself. I love you guys, but you don't need to know where I live. Right. Kaiser, can I have a... Are we doing the wheel spinny thing? Can you send me the website for that? Or... Wait, it's best to respond to me in Discord, because... Oh, blood. Yeah, I tab back out to YouTube, and I just see Grond. Grond. Thank you. Wheel of Names. Oh, he sent it twice even, right? Does that mean we're getting double the keys? No, of course not. I have 3 keys to give away, guys. The other hosts will also have some to give away as well, so do not fret about that. I will be doing 3 winners here. Let me try and copy the list of names. There we go. So I'm very prepared here. I'm very prepared. Can I add my own name, Kaiser? I'm joking. Someone enter my name. No, it's closed. Right, I have the list of names in. Where's this? Let's go over here. The Wheel of Names. May the odds be in all of your favors. We're gonna click. Who's our first winner? Remember, a Chapter 4 bundle key is what's up for grabs here. And our first winner is... Oh, it's creeping. Divinux. Well done, my friend. Kaiser, I assume that the organizers will reach out and give them their key at some point this evening. I think that's how it works. If someone can note that down for me, and then I will spin the second one. That's how it's gonna work? Okay, awesome. Right. We shall remove you. 1 key is enough. Let's spin again. Good luck, guys. May the odds be in your favor. Oh, man, I love this. This is fun. Who's it gonna land on? Oh, it's creeping. King Olzu. Well done, my friend. You have won the second key. I'll wait just a couple of seconds so the organizers can write that one down for me. Just send something random in Discord once it's noted down. And then I'll go. I think we got it right. We got 1 more key to give away, guys. Good luck. Good luck. Who's going to be the lucky winner? I thank you, Paradox, as well, for not only helping advertise ModCon, but also providing us with some keys here. And our final winner of today, PVG Corona. You have won yourself a Chapter 4 bundle. Thank you very much, guys, for entering and whatnot. I'll wait a couple moments so that one can be noted down as well. And they are Chapter 4 bundle keys, so you do, of course, get every single... You do get every single DLC in Chapter 4. Sorry, I'm reading Discord messages and speaking. I'm terrible at multitasking. Right, let's get rid of the wheel. The wheel's gone. Oh dear, right. Wait, where's this gone? Back to the schedule. Damn, you're gonna get your professionalism sorted out. Right, guys. It's time. I open YouTube again, and as chat catches up, I just see 3 million Gronds. I think everyone here knows what's next. It's time. Because our last entry, it's obviously a total conversion. And it is based on Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings. Obviously, if you don't know what Lord of the Rings is, I'll give a brief introduction, but I think we all know what it is. It includes many fantasy races, each with their own unique playstyles, including elves, the best race dwarves, and orcs. Includes one of the most detailed and complex maps of Middle-earth. its people and polities to date, and in addition to this, and the area explored by the canon, Realms in Exile now seeks to explore beyond the familiars of the War of the Ring, seeking out lands, peoples, and conflicts far to the east and south of those encountered in the books. What does that mean? Well, let's watch the trailer, and we shall find out.
Welcome, everybody, to a brief preview of the ongoing work in Lord of the Rings Realms in Exile. As CK3 grows older, and so does the team, we have grown and learned, refining our processes and vision. We have now split our development into 3 major tracks. First, map expansions, where we continue to expand the map geographically. Second, start dates, where we add new dates to explore. And third, mechanic expansions. And here we have the most specifically referred to and a long-awaited addition to the mod, the Fellowship of the Ring. In the realm of map expansion, we continue to explore and expand into lands all but untouched by Tolkien. Those at the far east and south, which do not enter into the tellings of the west. Our next map expansion focuses on the Bay of Ormal. This inner sea, rumored to be the spot where the great primordial lamp once fell, it is home to new nations, cultures, and religions to discover. The lands of Serain, on the bay's west, are varied in creed and polity, ebbing and flowing, rising and falling, but the shadow has begun to once more sink its talons into this vibrant land, turning its people hostile. To the north of the bay stands the Empire of Kai, its inhabitants sun worshippers, standing as the greatest success of the many efforts of the Blue Wizards, who will not be coming in this map expansion, we must stress, but soon. Turning to our ongoing bookmark work, traveling back in time almost 1700 years, the current bookmark under construction starts in the earlier Third Age of 1349, the Rise of Angmar. Here there will be a great northern war between the kingdoms of Arnor, ruled by the ancestors of Aragorn, and Angmar, ruled by the Witch King, greatest of Sauron's servants, chief of the Nazgul. For 6 centuries these kingdoms would fight until both were brought to ruin, but perhaps in the hands of a skilled player this might be changed. Meanwhile, to the south, Gondor has waxed in power and pride alike, but pride may yet beget ruin, as happened historically, for the looming kinstrife shall end many a line and deplete much of the splendor of Gondor. Our final and most complicated work lies in the realm of mechanical expansion. Foremost of these which are being worked on is the long-awaited Fellowship of the Ring and the Ring Quest. While still in early stages, coding-wise, after much discussion, we have come to a general design philosophy for how we want the mechanics to work, and the Fellowship as a whole to function. We hope to share with you as we continue to progress in implementing the Fellowship. Other mechanical expansions are also being worked on, such as the long-awaited, and some would argue mythical, sorcery rework, as well as possible revisions to elven gameplay and/or orcish successions. We thank you for sticking with us thus far, and hope you'll be joining us for when Realms in Exile 4.3 releases in the near future.
Holy crap. The Ring Quest, Rise of Angmar, and already a new playable location? What did we think of that, guys? I'm hyped. I cannot wait to play that. And guess what? I know you have questions, and it just so seems to be that I have the developers here with me. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hello guys, I am Yakudan, the current team lead on Realms in Exile.
And I suppose I am Vector Maximus. I am the mod's lore master, so I basically handle the high level, making sure everything stays in line with the lore, making lore decisions, interpretations, and essentially making sure that our internal canon all checks out, because Obviously, we have the foundation of Tolkien's work, which is fantastic, but particularly for CK3, there's so much more, low-level holdings, characters, storylines, particularly beyond the bounds of what Tolkien established in the books, that there's a lot to keep straight, and we have to make calls and design decisions, and so that essentially falls under my purview. So,
Hello, I'm Duke, also known as the Gobbo Dev. I work on this and that everywhere, goblins, events, history, and all sorts of silly things.
I am Hendrix. I'm the lead tester for Realms in Exile, and well, my job is to playtest everything on the map, basically. So
and lose your mind doing so.
Yeah, it's fine. Lost mine long ago.
Right, guys. So if you have any questions, feel free to fire them away in chat now. Do we want to designate someone to read out the questions?
I can, if no one else wants to. It's going to be a bit hard keeping an eye on the chat, but I see there's one question which can quickly be somewhat answered, which is, are we planning on adding dark dwarves? Vector can probably answer that since we have had that question.
So, I'm assuming when people refer to dark dwarves, they mean like something along the lines of chaos dwarves from Warhammer, or Sauron serving evil clans of dwarves who worship him, or Morgoth, or stuff like that. And so, in that vein, the answer is no. There are dwarves that have fought for Sauron as mercenaries. There's groups of dwarves that go AWOL. The dwarves fight each other, but there isn't any sort of large-scale evil clan, air quotes. That's one of the major things about dwarves is Aule made them to be very resistant to corruption because he was making them when Morgoth was still active and still very powerful in the world. So we didn't feel that it thematically made sense to have kind of that sort of stereotypical evil worshipping dwarves. Not to say that there can't be bad dwarves. For those of you who know Lord of the Rings Online, we've actually got Skorgrim Dallarhan penciled in for the Angmar start date as a potential collaborator with the Witch King. So that's all I'll say on that front for now. But there's no evil dwarven clans planned at this point.
Cool. And then just a quick question. I saw someone ask Blue Wizards when. Short answer is not in this update, but Vector can correct me. They'll be in the steppe region whenever we get to it.
Correct. And kind of expanding on that, so our current expansion into the Bay of Ormal is 4.2, I believe. And then we have a plan to finish off the southern region of the map, and that'll be 4.3 in ModCon. That's already pretty well underway. And then we're going to be aiming to do a massive push east and basically add all the steppe in 4.4. And that is when you are finally going to get your hands on the Blue Wizards, and we'll have all 5 Istari on the map at the War of the Ring. So look forward to that.
Yes. And just on top of that, as Vector mentioned, we are moving down to ModCon, our next region, then steppe and so on. But at the same time, we are also working on different start dates. Like in the trailer mentioned, we're working on Rise of Angmar, which is 1349. And then alongside start date and new regions, mechanically, we are also working on slowly planning out and adding the Ring Quest. As we obviously do want to make the Ring Quest quite special and whatnot. Someone asked whether Kai has any special mechanics. And in short, somewhat yes, as in we finally added admin to the map. Kai is our first realm designed around specifically being admin for around the last 1,000 years-ish in-game. So that's an entire thing. And then we have made a tiny bit of a storyline inside there where you already have one dominant family at game start, ready to cause some ruckus, keeping the internal affairs of the Empire a bit busy. And then someone... Sorry, go ahead.
And then there is also the fact that, interestingly, we don't have all the kinks ironed out yet, but Kai, more specifically, Kai's Faith, is the first faith that we've added on map where we have re-enabled Crusades as a mechanic. So, you can look forward to that.
Yes, and also big shout out to Jamie for doing all the faith icons for the Bevermore region. I think there's 3 broad religions with in Bevermore, with all the faiths following similar styles with the icons, giving a nice thematic theme. Oh, and then Duke, you'll be able to answer this one. Someone asked, why is Abercon so empty / reworked?
Oh, of course you're giving it to me. Right, so Abercan has been a bit of a thorn in our side for a short while. Ever since its implementation, it's always had a bit of trouble, like code-wise, and in general, we've just not really been happy with the region. So, especially because we know that the ring waves were in the north during this time period, so you can't really have one raining down there in the south. We had, for a very long time, we had a system where Sauron would just tell him to come north, like on the first day of the game. And we've finally gone with the step and tried to make it its own region without an Nazgul in there. So we've completely severed that lore connection, and we're hoping to put in some new stuff there. You can see the Oasis of Darsalan. That's probably going to have some content around it. It's a little oasis of, Haradrim clansmen, and then you've got the mountain clansmen in the mountains who are trying to reclaim their old heritage. Because you might not know this, but once, very long ago, there was a big civilization around that salt lake, but then it dried up and became basically Chernobyl.
Cool. Someone asked, will the Yellow Mountains be populated in the next major update of the mod? And yes, when we're adding ModCon, which will be 4.3, I think, the plan is to, or we have already mapped, I say we, Jamie, has already mapped all of the Yellow Mountains, all of ModCon. So yeah, that will be what we'll be moving towards as soon as, Bay of Ormal releases and we're happy with the state of it.
Yes, there's going to be a lot of fun playing as the evil empire of the volcano worshipping orcs. I know we've mentioned them a few times on our Discord, but I'm looking forward to finally being able to properly implement them and not just the little bits which have spilled into Tantarok and Usakon.
I see Grazer here asked, will the Fellowship Ring quest always end in the destruction of the ring, or can we keep it? In short, it's one of our kind of core tenets of making the Ring quest quite replayable. So answer is yes, you'll get the option to keep the ring. And can't delve too much into its mechanics, simply as we have quite a lot to still code in and figure out. But in short, there's going to be a lot of branching pathways and a lot of things you can do that isn't obviously necessarily in the canon timeline. But obviously you as a player can decide, oh yes, I will, as Frodo, decide to keep the ring. Or maybe as Samwise Gamgee, create your massive green empire.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, sorry, go ahead.
Because, we could have very easily done a very straightforward event chain to handle the ring quest. Linear event to linear event to linear event. That probably could have been done, years ago at this stage. But our goal was to make the ring quest and its entire systems dynamic enough that it could handle all of the potential chaos that happens when you put power in the hands of CK3 players and CK3 AI. So, what if once they leave Rivendell, Boromir runs off with the ring? Or what if Galadriel takes it in Lorien? Or what if Aragorn takes it for whatever reason? Or what if Gollum manages to steal it? Those are all sorts of things that we had to take into consideration when we were designing this system, and we've designed something that we think is going to work. But it is still in its early stages. We've got a pretty firm idea of the design at this point, and we've started to implement it, but it's still in its fairly early stages, and it'll still be a while before it's reached the point where we can show a more finalized product.
Yep. And someone asked here, which is a question quite pertinent, really. Will the Dune be nomadic? And to kind of expand on that, what will we be using from the Cons of the Steppe DLC? In short, I don't think we have any nomadic governments on the map currently. just because as a team, we kind of felt the regions that nomadic government kind of fit for were really too small. And a big part about nomadic government is having that geographical region, that you can run off to. You see this massive empire on the horizon, and you're like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to run to the other side of the world and still be safe. And unfortunately, in our current region, that wasn't really possible because the UNC, while it looks quite big, it's in reality only about 12 to 15 counties. So if you've got a big conqueror, then, you'll die pretty soon. But that's why we are looking at the step next. So after ModCon. So hopefully sometime this year or next year.
Yeah. So expanding kind of on Yako's point there, the design philosophy currently for the team is when we get to 4.4, we are expanding into what we alternatively call either the Runic Steppe or the Great Steppe, which is the vast open plains of Central and Eastern Middle-earth. At that point, we are going to look into doing a deep dive and make sure that all the steppe nomad mechanics from Khans of the Steppe are implemented. Because there will actually be that big steppe region where we can have an appropriate steppe experience, instead of kind of this tiny little thing around the Sea of Rune and maybe in parts of Rovanian that just doesn't have really the space to have that sort of proper experience.
Yep. I saw someone ask a follow-up question on the ring quest and so forth. As an outsider, will you be able to interfere with the Fellowship, such as to take the ring for yourself? And in short, yes. Obviously, the entire thing about the ring quest is you will have the most power surrounding what they will be able to do if you play as them yourselves. But let's say you're playing Galadriel and they show up at your doorstep, then yes, you will be able to influence. Maybe you force them to give you the ring, or you provide them with far larger resources than they get canonically. Let's say you're playing Saruman and instead of going evil, you decide to stay good, then you open up the Pass of Rohan. So yes, as kind of outside rulers and so forth, you will be able to influence the Fellowship, both in a negative and a positive way. Or at least that's currently the plan.
To a degree, I feel like I need to caveat. It doesn't make sense for a random goblin in the Misty Mountains who doesn't even know about the One Ring or know that the Fellowship is a thing to suddenly be able to be like, I'm going to, walk to this random province and know that I have to be there in order to steal the ring from this little hobbit thing that I've never even heard of before. So there will be some degree of boundaries, but if the Fellowship is in your area, if they pass through your lands, then yes, there will be opportunities to interact with the system. But, there are some caveats and restrictions. It's not total, this random person from the ends of the map can see Frodo and try to steal the ring from him, sort of.
Yeah. Someone asked, will we ever go north of Angmar? And in short, kind of yes, but only in about 5 or 6 years when we have every other region and every other start date expanded. Because obviously that is kind of...
Maybe not every other start date, but essentially Forodwaith, which is that region, is our last area we are looking to expand in terms of expanding the map. But it's a Siberian permafrost by and large, so there's not a lot interesting there for us to do. It'll kind of just be completing for completion's sake at that point, really. I'm sure we'll figure out some sort of fun stuff to do there, but it's very low on the totem pole, so it will be the last part of the map we get to.
Yeah. I saw someone asked whether we'll get new assets for some of the new cultures. In short, yes and no. Largely, we're using vanilla assets that we've kind of saved for this point, such as Persian assets. And obviously, we can kit bash some of special models like JBD was showing off in Kai. In terms of clothing, we've been lucky enough, and it's a shout out to AGOT, one of their two of their modelers actually gave us permission to use their clothing. So big shout out to them, and it makes some of our regions feel quite unique. So yeah, let me see if I can find more questions.
I'm just noticing that there's some little horsies running around.
That's so cute.
Yeah,
I'm afraid those might not be intentional.
Oh, please excuse my camera work, by the way, guys.
We put them there in
I
development
see the
because
question of can Sauron still be beaten if he gets the ring? The long-term answer is yes. Sauron was beaten once before with the ring. It's just, it will be very difficult, but nothing is impossible with the power of Eru on your side.
Grazo, just to answer this, unfortunately, it's probably not going to be a satisfying answer. But how does multiplayer work with the Fellowship players? Are they landless? Can answer that partly, as in we are planning to use the landless system, as in the camp and domiciles for the Fellowship. As for the multiplayer part, we have no idea. We are not close to the point of testing the ring quest. Something I think we can say for sure is that Ring Quest will not be out this year at all, just because we are quite ambitious and with what we're planning, and the systems we have to figure out and whatnot, it's definitely not coming this year. So we're not.
Based on what we have explored, I would probably recommend not expecting being able to do a multiplayer fellowship, at least not in the sense of every player in the fellowship being able to equally guide where they're going. Because our thought was essentially that a player who is in the fellowship would essentially make the final calls in where it goes to give the player that bit of agency. Because it's a lamp, and obviously only one player can be playing a lamp at a time. So that makes it difficult to make it controlled by multiple players.
I saw someone ask a question here that's can kind of be answered, or not really answered, but it leads into a tandem. If Sauron gets the ring, will coalitions form? They can. We don't have anything specific implemented for it now, but the thing we have done, especially with Cons of the Steppe, is we have unlocked confederations forming for basically every government. As in vanilla, they're locked to nomadic and tribal, but we've unlocked them, especially with examples of stuff like Last Alliance, and in the Second Age, the War of Elves and Men, and so forth. So yeah. I saw someone ask, are there negative consequences for taking the ring for your character, or will they only trigger larger scale negative effects? Kind of both. It depends which character you're talking about. So it will have negative personality effects on your character. But we have also talked about it, if you're in part of the Fellowship, it affecting the Fellowship's cohesion. You know, as your character kind of, you know, is more willing to stab his fellow Fellowship members for the ring, it breaks down the Fellowship a bit more. But that's also still very work in progress.
And I also saw a question asking if the Fellowship can split, and yes, that is something we've discussed, so you can have the canonical outcome where Frodo and Sam and Gollum end up going off on their own, then you have the three hunters, Merry and Pippin, so on and so forth, going their own separate ways. So we have discussed, you know, can we gain Fellowship members? Can we lose Fellowship members as it continues going? And that's one of the reasons why we kind of liked the idea of doing a lamp, because then each member of the Fellowship is essentially a camp follower. And then you can split them out and have them stop being a lamp member when it's time for that split to happen.
I don't know if we addressed this yet, but since we're already talking about it being an LAMP, it will not be playable without the DLC, unfortunately. This is something we did decide on as a creative choice.
Yes, and we do apologize for those who do not have that DLC. We generally speaking try to make our mod accessible to everybody, no matter your combinations of DLCs, but this is one aspect where we felt so powerfully about this from a design perspective that we decided to do this. But The thought is that the ring quest will still happen. It's just you won't be able to play the Fellowship themselves.
I don't know if we talked about the timing yet. That might also be another.
Oh yeah, in terms of just kind of as a tangent, as Duke mentioned, obviously people understand that things on CK3's timescale is not the same as what canonically happens or what happens in IRL. So we have decided to kind of extend the time for which the Fellowship takes from beginning to completion, simply because if we go with the canonical timescale, not only is it not physically possible for the characters to travel on map, as that already takes longer than the canonical timescale, using the canonical route, but it is also a very, very short period in CK3 timescale. It's roughly around a year. So, and obviously, as a CK3 player, that isn't really a large percentage of your playtime, considering most players play around at least between 50 to 100 years. So yeah.
We are aided in this by the fact that the youngest member of the Fellowship, I think it's Pippin, is, I believe, around 30 at the start of it. Because hobbits do live quite long, and so do all the other members of the Fellowship, so we won't be having any actual in-game children walking around.
Yeah, that as well. I saw someone asked, there's actually been a few questions like this. Can other characters join the Fellowship, like Faramir or Children of Bjorn or Bard? In short, yes. We are exploring options of making the Fellowship members a bit dynamic. So instead, just as an example, instead of sending Legolas, Thranduil sends Toriel, as the reason Legolas is in Rivendell at the same time as the Fellowship is to report that Gollum has escaped, Maybe Thranduil sends Toriel or his sister instead of Legolas. For some characters, it makes more sense to make them a bit more dynamic. And for other characters, less, such as Aragorn, there's only really one or two options that we can kind of make it that it's a dynamic in his case, but also makes sense, such as Halbrand. But yeah.
But to expand on that, in some regards, yes. In some regards, no. Not every character will be able to join the Fellowship because the Fellowship in the canon was kind of a confluence of fates. All these people just happened to come to Rivendell at the same time, and that's how the Fellowship is formed. So characters who can potentially get to Rivendell have reasons to be at Rivendell in that time. There will definitely be attempts to incorporate as custom possible Fellowship outcomes. But again, kind of random character from the end of the world. If they decide to wander north to Rivendell and just chill out for 5 years waiting for the Fellowship, we'll see. I wouldn't pin your hopes on that happening, but we'll see. I'll never say never.
I saw probably the most important question here. Can Grond be a member of the Fellowship? And 100% yes. He is, after all, the most important character in the Legendarium.
Sorry, countermanded on lore reasons say it can't happen, so countermanded.
Oh, damn it.
I
sorry,
did mention.
I tried.
I did mention earlier that if we get $10,000 on the charity, we will make Grond seduction events. It'll be a whole event chain.
That is true.
That sounds like a you project, Duke. So have at it.
Yeah, I'll pick up if we actually get this to $10,000. I'll do that. I'll shoulder it.
Hey, is there any? I kind of saw a question about Endwives and. Okay, someone asked about Endwives and their whereabouts since the map is being expanded, and what about a potential End reunion if only in events? And short answer, no. I think the mod stance is that they die out in the Brownlands.
Well,
or
so
that we kind of leave it vague.
The mod stance is that we leave it vague. There are some hints that maybe there's Endwives hiding in the Shire, because there's I think it's one of Mary's cousins. He's walking trees or something. But in general, no. Our plan is to leave it essentially up to the player's own headcanon as to the Endwives' fates. Are they hiding? Are they gone? Ents and the Entwives are one of those exotic species that are just very difficult to implement into a Crusader Kings framework because they don't make sense in 99.9% of all events. So, it's the same reason we aren't doing giant spiders or giant eagles at this point, because if you can't imagine them going down to the bar and having a drink, they are going to be a heck of a lot of work to get to fit in the context of CK3. So
yeah, sorry.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
All right. One of the few ones that I actually we discussed recently that I thought about would be the Crabine, which are incredibly obscure and you probably don't know about. But in Tolkien lore, actually, a lot of birds are fully sentient and can talk to humans. And there's a couple of different. There's crows around Erebor, and there's a few ravens that are able to just.
Ravens. It's ravens around Erebor, not crows.
No, it's crows too. There's big crows in Dunland. They talk Westron.
Yeah, in Dunland.
Yeah.
You said Erebor.
No. Yeah, I said in Erebor too. I said crows and ravens. Anyways, this is nitpicking. No. So we might have some travel events around those.
Yeah, so we aren't ruling out possibly having some things show up in events, because we do that with trolls already. They show up for an event and then they're gone. But that's different from being present on the map outside of events. So
yeah, and then
that's kind of more what I was aiming to get at.
One that Hendrix can probably answer, because he did hold me at gunpoint and threaten me if we didn't clear the bugs first. But someone asked a timeline on a 4.2 release. So Hendrix can maybe answer that.
A timeline on a 4.2 release.
Yeah, Bay of Ormal.
We still sticking to the soon TM? Or
No. I think an open beta after this interview makes sense. No, surely.
Yeah. I mean, no game crashes or anything. I think we're good for a open beta release right now.
Yeah. So if no one caught that, we are doing an open beta after this live interview. So, and then you guys will be able to explore Kai and the surrounding areas yourself. Obviously, it includes all the bugs, TM, and we do have content, but, if your PC blows up, then please sign the waiver.
Work in progress, not final product, standard disclaimers. You guys know what the hell you're getting into at this point, because this is like our third open beta.
Exactly. Any more questions? Actually, I saw one. In the newly added areas of Bay of Ormal, is Sauron's will present in any way, shape, or form? And I'll leave that to you, Vector, since that's very much a lore question.
So, yes and no. So, part of our inspiration for the Bay of Ormal was the fact that Tolkien changed his views on the Blue Wizards as the Legendarium aged. At the beginning, he's basically said that they were complete failures. Towards the end of his life, he said that they were vital to making sure that not all of the East fell to Sauron's hands, that there were forces that could resist. And that's what Kai is built out of. It's meant to be one of those Blue Wizard success stories. So they're a big anti-Sauron force, and arguably by far their most successful. But a successful anti-Sauron force does not mean no Sauronic influence. So, in the Bay of Ormal, you have Kai as essentially this beacon of light against Sauron's influence. But in Serain, which is kind of a chaotic region, it tends to have a lot of uniting and falling apart. There's much longer shadows for things to grow in the dark. So you find much more Sauronic, if not overtly Sauronic, subverted, Sauronic manipulated cults and individuals. You can see here on our alignment map, right there in the heart of Serain, there's a fair bit of Dark Aligned faiths, and they have some content designed to set them against Kai, so there is this sort of push and pull in the Bay. The light is ascendant and strong at the moment, but it could be toppled.
Yeah.
And I just want, because I've seen this commented several times, Glorfindel in the Fellowship is one of those major alt history dynamic Fellowship options that we are looking to incorporate. So, since I've seen that commented multiple times, I just wanted to make sure to grab that.
Yeah, no, I was just going to highlight that. And then someone asked actually kind of an interesting question, which let me see if I can get it. But essentially, will there be a kind of classical light versus dark battle in Bev or Mol? And kind of the answer is a bit of yes, but the further away you get from Gondor and that direct, influence of, their understanding of the Valar, the kind of more vague it becomes of, who really is directly influenced by the Valar versus the Nazgul. Obviously in Kai versus Serain, it's a bit more clear, but in places like Poa, which is about Western Serain, they're just chill dudes, hanging out, trying to enjoy life. So yeah.
I'm about to get conquered for the 25th time.
Yeah, that's kind of their life story.
The speed bump of Serain. So, as I mentioned before, there is a bit of a light and dark pull in the Third Age 3000 start date because we do have content set up. We do have a Dark Aligned Conqueror in Serain who is meant to kind of rise and be a problem for Kai. And they're supposed to clash. So that's kind of your big light versus dark. But it's also completely possible that she flubs it and stubs her toe and dies 2 days in, and suddenly Kai has free reign over the whole bay. So that's kind of where, the randomness of CK3 comes into effect.
Yeah. Sorry. I actually had to just got reminded. I need to update. Yes, the open beta will be on the latest CK3 version. So no need to roll back anymore, guys, if you're planning on playing the open beta.
The real win there.
Yeah. And then also got reminded of this. If you're a 3D modeler and you want to donate stuff or work on the team, please help. I'm tired of kit bashing stuff. It's fun, but I've got mechanical stuff to do.
Yes, we are always in desperate need of 3D modelers. This is not just a invitation. This is a cry for help.
At this point, I want to really quickly chime in. As you may know, I'm also a dev in Elder Kings 2, and I've been actually bribed to say this by AJ. Do check out Elder Kings 2 as well. They didn't have a spot on this today, but they did actually borrow us. Let me finish. They did borrow us some 3D models. They did generously borrow us some 3D models that we can use now, for example, for some goblin masks. So we'll be very excited for that. Also, shout out to CyberXCan from Rice. We've implemented some of their content as well, or used it as inspiration.
Yes, obviously all with permission. So, yeah, but.
And also, I do want to chime in here because I'm pretty sure Arian will massacre me if I don't. Realms in Exile does now also have a subreddit, so if you want, feel free to join us there. Post your latest, greatest nonsense. I'm pretty sure the latest post was a meme about some of the new starting rulers for the new area. So
it was the best memes. I'm not gonna lie, they were pretty good.
Right, guys. Well, do we have any more questions? Let's say one more question.
Yeah. Poor JBD. It's probably towards like 12
I'll be honest.
midnight.
I was enjoying looking around the map. Thank you for having me as a cameraman.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you for hosting us. Thank you for hosting ModCon Day 1. You did a great job. Thank you.
Yeah, probably the most notorious Realms in Exile streamer, YouTuber out there. So
I guess now we're playing all the trailers for a second time now, right?
This isn't our show. This is your show.
I'm all for it. I need to see that For Nations trailer again. It was.
Yeah, I could just see that one 3 times in a row, please.
There we go. We have one final question from Nathan there. Are flying horses now canon?
Victor, I'll leave this to you.
The resounding silence tells me that wasn't meant to be asked, and that was a secret for next update. So
No,
Yes.
the flying horses aren't canon, and I shall smite anyone on the dev team who tries to make them canon.
I mean,
Little
they're
does he
just
know, there's
distant
already 5
relatives.
events.
I heard they're just distant relatives of the Eagles, no? Is that not how it
we
works?
wish.
The sad thing is that in some versions of the Eagles, that honestly would not be the greatest stretch of logic.
There we go, guys. I'm gonna be hired as a writer for the next update. Don't worry. Right. well, thank you, guys. That was a pleasure. I appreciate having you, and I'm probably gonna download the update. Well, I guess I already have it. I'm gonna play it after the stream. But yeah, thank you.
Cool. Thanks for having us.
And
And
thanks for
sorry, just
presenting your mod. Sorry?
yeah, yes, just on the open beta, it should go live 10 or so minutes. As soon as I have it up and works.
Not before I confirm if it's working or not, Jakob.
That as well.
Right,
But
guys.
yeah,
Well,
thanks for having us.
I will catch you later. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thanks.
have a good night, everybody, and enjoy the rest of the days of ModCon. Looks
Thank
like there's
you.
still a bunch more to see.
See you guys.
Yeah, bye, guys.
Right, and just like that, if we go back to our schedule, we have wrapped up all of the mods on the list. We made it through, and I only messed up a few times. Where's the donations up to, guys? By the way, if you do have more questions to ask the developers, as with all the other mods, the link to their discords are in the description, so make sure to join those. We are up to a whopping $1,564. Actually, let's call it $1,600 because obviously I'm gonna add my 100 as well in about a week's time. You guys have absolutely nailed that. Honestly, it's incredible. This community, the Paradox Crusader Kings free community, is honestly one of the best. You guys are just insane. But before here, let's go and look at the World Monuments Fund as well, just in case anyone wants to cheekily throw in an extra donation. Before we wrap up, I do want to say some thank yous, because ModCon would not be possible without, first of all, our organizers, Kaiser, Uber, and LotR. Can everyone say thank you to them in the chat? Because it might not seem it when you watch it, but so much goes into organizing this in the background. And seeing them guys over the last few days, especially the last 24 hours, organizers, it's incredible how they bring everyone together and manage to structure something. So big thank you to those. Also, a big thank you to all of the developers that make Crusader Kings and all of the other games as magic as it is. Honestly, it's so inspiring. I've said this before in my videos and whatnot, but I truly believe that CK3 has the best modding community of any game I've played. The passion, the attention to detail, the size of some of the mods, it's bloody incredible. So thank you to all of the modders who have put forth their work to show at ModCon. And this is only day one. There's 4 more shows, guys. Obviously, thank you to everyone who's donated so far. $1,500 on the first day is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys as well for your generosity. It is really greatly appreciated from all of us. Next, I want to say thank you to Paradox, not only for helping advertise ModCon, but also allowing modders and whatnot to take the lead in the show. I think it's truly something magical. I don't know any other publisher or developer that has this, that has a yearly ModCon. It's truly something magic. So thank you to them as well. Also for providing the giveaways, keys. And then lastly, but certainly not least, thank you to all of you guys for tuning in, viewing, supporting everyone here. Honestly, it's really a community effort. You guys are bloody amazing. Everyone's amazing. Right, but before I wrap up, I do have one more special guest to introduce. I think I was already supposed to call them. I got carried away with my camera work, guys. I'm gonna have Tarkus come on and just briefly speak about day 2 and what you can expect from his show tomorrow. So let's see, where's Discord? I'm a mess here. Tarkus, right? I'm gonna call you Tarkus, but with the delay. I guess I've already done it. Hello, Tarkus.
Hello.
Do you want to go over day 2 and what you've got in store for us tomorrow?
I would absolutely love to. Are you able to pull up the schedule on screen? Oh, you already did. Okay,
it's
excellent.
On screen.
Tomorrow, I have the esteemed honor of hosting the Imperator section. Now, Imperator, of course, a game that did not get a long lifespan, but thanks to the efforts of the amazing modding community that we have in the Paradox community, we keep it alive. And I'm very excited to show off the Imperator content. That's what's going to be awesome. I love Imperator. I wish I could play it more, but I'm a content creator, so I got to spend my time playing games people, play a little more than Imperator. But it's a wonderful mod. The Invictus mod, a couple of new mods too, Gift of the Nile, Imperatrix Victoria. The Imperatrix Victoria one, I gotta say, is a huge mod. Really ambitious. Looking forward to presenting that to you guys. I've also got, for those that prefer something a little more mainstream, things like The Fallen Eagle with some live interviews. Fallen Eagle, of course, about the late antiquity, Roman Empire type thing. They've got a lot of amazing stuff coming there. And after that, the very interesting mod compatibility discussion, which was hosted by me. I was speaking with the organizers of the ModCon, at least some of them, speaking with guys like LotR, the Gib, and CybrexCon, famously the developer of Rice. And we're talking about the way that mods interact with each other and how they, work together to try to make it so that mods can be used together. Because a lot of times it would really suck if you wanted to use all your favorite mods together and you just can't because they aren't compatible. After that section, we've got Rice, which is a very famous mod by CybrexCon. He's literally in chat right now. We've got the Winter King, a mod about sort of the migration of the Saxons and Anglo-Saxons into England. It's like a sort of very specific mod. How do I explain it? It's about the movement of the Anglo-Saxons and Jutes and stuff like that into England, and the map is just England. So it's all about do you bring England back to the British and that kind of thing. After that is Hegemonia, another sort of small map about Greece. After that is the Old Gods Expanded, and just so many wonderful things. Even Lux Renatus, which is a revival of an old CK2 mod. More details about it tomorrow, though. Let me not waste people's time too much, Just come watch tomorrow. That's what you can do if you want to know more. To cap it off, we've got After the End, again with a live interview. After the End, legendary, total conversion mod for CK3. Very much looking forward to all this stuff. Thank you for hosting, by the way, JBD.
Well, thank you for coming on at the end as well. I'm going to be watching tomorrow, so good luck with tomorrow. And don't play the same trailer twice. I've learned that today, so...
I feel like I have to, in reference to you. I have to do it at least once,
do you know what you need to do? You need to start off with the Dragon Age trailer.
Yes, that's perfect. I'll do that.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Well, thank you, Tarkus. I shall see you tomorrow. Thank you for hopping on. And
no problem. See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Right, guys. I guess we'll finish on the World Monuments Fund page. What was our final figure for today? $1,600. Wow, you guys incredible. I won't keep you too long, because I think I've said everything. We've seen some amazing trailers. I just want to thank everyone again. And thank you for allowing me to host. It has been an honor, and hopefully I have made it somewhat enjoyable. But guys, remember, come back for tomorrow. The show 2 is linked in the description and whatnot. And I'll see you there as a viewer this time. Thank you, and catch you next time. And donate to World Monuments Fund.